Thank you.
Call to order. Adoption of agenda. Can I have a seconder?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Adoption of minutes.
Minutes of the regular council meeting held on July 21st, 2021.
Can I have a seconder?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Minutes of the special council meeting held on August 3rd, 2021. Can I have a seconder?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Introducing of late items, none. Public hearing, none.
Your Worship, one, it's not a late item, it's an actual deletion from the agenda. There will be no delegation A from the South Peace Health Services Society. They advised us today that both principals were unable to make it. So I'll push it over until the next council meeting on September 1st.
Okay, thank you. So the next delegation is Mr. Marcel Woodall, South Peace Ground Search and Rescue, real-time exercise proposed for August 19th, 2021.
Actually,
Can I have a seconder?
oh, sorry.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Yeah, correction on the date actually, because originally we were looking at doing our training September, or actually the 19th, which would be tomorrow. So we figured one day was kind of short notice because that's as soon as we could get in to speak to you guys. So we're actually looking at September 2nd to do training. And what we're proposing, and we're here to speak to you guys tonight about, is setting up in-town training. So urban search is what we'd like to train our people with and work with. So the scenario we're looking at is a lost or missing child within the boundaries of Pooskoopie, and working jointly with Pooskoopie Fire in a unified command to have our members go out and search public areas, so the parks and the playgrounds and kind of the wooded areas. And then we also have some residents of the village that have volunteered to allow us to have members go and knock on their door and introduce themselves for what they're doing. So yeah, it's kind of what we're coming to you guys to see if it would be all right if we did that within the village. And the other thing this does too is it allows us to get a better understanding of how the village is laid out and work on our mapping programs with our new command posts that we just set up, and work with Pooskoopie Fire so that in the event that there's ever a community evacuation or anything like that, we're actually better prepared to assist the community with that as well. So yeah, that's kind of why we're here tonight, and yeah.
So would you need maps and things?
No, we take care of all our own mapping and everything else. We've got computer programs and all that. So
Of the boundaries?
yeah, we have all our own mapping and everything else that we take care of. Basically, all we need is just you guys to say, yeah, we got your blessing to go forward and do the training on that night. We'd be starting around 7 o'clock at night and going until no later than 10:30 at the absolute latest time. Everything is all closed up and closed off for the night.
I'm all for it. You have any questions, Bart?
Yeah, is this gonna cost the village any money?
No, because as far as I know, your fire department's a volunteer fire department, so it'll be their members coming out for an additional night of training to grab some extra knowledge with working with search and rescue. And it'll give myself and our management team a chance to work with the Pooskoopie's fire department so that we have a better working relationship and understand each other's technology a little bit better, because we've just had a significant upgrade in ours. So it allows us to work better, and then if there is any kinks or bugs or issues, that allows us to work those out. And moving forward, if there is ever a civil emergency or anything like that, we're going to be a better asset to the community at large.
Have you been, search and rescue been called out for an emergency situation, as in forest fires or accident or anything like that?
Yeah, so search and rescue, we deal with lost and missing persons or people that are injured out in the bush where BC Ambulance can't get to them. So then we go up for that. The RCMP will also task us for doing searches within municipal boundaries for lost or missing elderly persons, children, that kind of stuff, as well as assisting with rescue if needed. So a lot of what we do though is going out looking for lost or missing persons. When it comes to the wildfires, all search and rescue really does is goes and delivers evacuation alerts and notices.
Marcel, can you tell me how long you've been doing search and rescue?
This is going on what, our ninth going on 10th year with South Peace Search and Rescue for both
That's
myself
awesome.
and Jenna.
That's awesome. Ryan?
Do you have any plans to do this exercise in Dawson Creek instead?
The reason why we chose Pooskoopie actually over Dawson Creek is Pooskoopie is a lot smaller, so it's a lot easier to contain our boundaries and actually run a full scenario within Pooskoopie because it's easier. We've got certain ways in and out of town. So it's easier to coordinate that and work at a smaller scale for the limited time that we have. If we had, say an 8 to 10 hour day, we could look at doing something in Dawson Creek, but just the scale of what we want to do with the time frame that we have, right, it just doesn't make it feasible. And we have a better working relationship with Pooskoopi Fire, so there's been some interest on their end for doing some joint training.
So you'd be available for Fort St. John, Chetwynd, Tumbler?
No, so actually Fort St. John has their own search and rescue team that does very similar training and has a couple more specialties. Tumbler Ridge also has their own search and rescue team, and so does Chetwynd. So what we do here out of Dawson Creek, Pooskoopi, is we have most of our gear stationed across the street. I'm sure you guys have seen it multiple times. So we take care of basically what would be the Dawson Creek RCMP's response area is what we're responsible for search and rescue. And then if, say, Tumbler Ridge or Fort St. John or Chetwynd need assistance, they need more manpower, they need more equipment, then they reach out to us and request that. And that all gets coordinated through the Emergency Coordination Center of British Columbia.
Thank you.
Yeah, and recently this last fall, I believe it was, we were actually mandated with the provincial government as first responders as well. So this is part of our training to have our people ready and trained to be able to do urban searches. And it's one of those things you want to practice going out and looking for kids before you actually have to do it, right? And we do have a subject that's available that's going to run and go get lost within Pooskoopi within a controlled measure. We'll be able to actually track them back from our command post. And like I said, we have members of the community that are willing to participate with the training so that we can make it as real as possible without disturbing, the residents. Just might be a little alarming when they start seeing the fire department guys and search and rescue people walking up and down streets, right? So that's why we figured we should push our dates back a little and have enough time that we can just give people a little more notice that, hey, we're going to be doing some training in town. And hopefully by then we'll have our training signs up and running as well. So we'll put some signs up saying that we're training.
So as long as the residents know that,
Yeah.
that's what you're up to.
Yeah, so we're looking at September 2nd, so I think that's what, 3-4 weeks out. So I think, if the village is willing to put a notice out to the community just saying, hey, search and rescue is doing a training exercise, right? We'll do the same on our social media as well, just to get the word out there so people aren't alarmed kind of thing, and the RCMP will be aware of it that night as well.
So you'd like us to put something on our Facebook page and our website?
Yeah, if you guys are willing to let us do the training within the municipal boundaries, if you put something on your Facebook page or on the page, just so people are aware of it, just in public notice to alleviate any concerns so people don't think we're actually out looking for a lost or missing child.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm surprised that you're coming and bringing this to us, because we don't usually, the fire department, when they do an exercise, they just inform us that it's being done. Also on this notice, we also should say that the search and rescue is not, our volunteer fire department is joining into the search and rescue. Search and rescue is not part of the village's umbrella. We are just assisting you in some training.
Yeah, so the South Peace Search and Rescue is actually a regional district asset. So we service the whole South Peace, like the Peace River Regional District. And our team actually looks after the entire South Peace. So we actually look after Dawson Creek and Pooskoopi are the two municipalities within our designated search area.
And your location is right here?
Yeah, we have most of our equipment, 90% of the time, is located right across the street.
Oh, I understand
Yeah.
that.
So it makes it a lot easier for us for keeping our training costs down as well, is now we're not having to, even though it's 10 minutes into Dawson, 10 minutes back out, it's still 20 minutes of moving all of our equipment and everything else. Here we can set up basically right where we're at. We can just deploy our equipment for the night to do our training. And what it does is it allows Who's Fire to see what we have and the work that command structure. Because during a state of a provincial emergency or major natural disasters, there's a really good chance that the search and rescue team will work in conjunction with the fire department and do joint command in those situations. So it gives us an opportunity in a low impact environment to be able to practice that and work out any bugs and issues before the real deal hits, and then we're scrambling, right?
Okay, I'm just,
Yeah.
Your Worship, just a request, I think, of Mr. Whittle. What would probably be best is if you're putting stuff on social media, maybe you could give us a little bit of guidance, let us see whatever you're putting up there so that our language mirrors what
Yeah,
you would
definitely.
like to see.
Yeah,
So
no.
if you could forward that back to us, that would be great.
Yeah, we'll have one of our information officers draft something up for you, and then we'll
Absolutely.
forward it on to you, and then we can do a joint statement or a
Absolutely.
joint media message.
That
Definitely.
would be great, thanks.
All in favor?
Do we need require a motion?
Not really, no, it's really just for information.
I guess you got the go-ahead there.
All
Marcel.
right. Thank you guys very much. The only thing that'll really get in our way is if we get an actual live call out, then, or the 2 days before, that'll kind of put us out of commission for that training night. But if there's any issues, we'll notify you guys right away. And if you guys have any concerns or questions, feel free to reach out and ask and
You bet.
go from there.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Yeah, you too. Unfinished business arising from the minutes.
Your worship, this item was on the last agenda a month ago, and you have in front of you the revised committee appointments. There was a discussion at council about them. Really what should have happened, and I guess my apologies, I should have raised the fact that really there should be a motion to, not in each case, if basically these appointments are acceptable, there should be some sort of a council motion to ratify them, because a lot of these agencies will require some sort of a motion from council. Of course, we're not talking about the regional district, that's a separate issue.
These are my
And,
appointments.
you know, the mayor, of course, has the authority to make appointments to committee, to standing and select committees without a motion. But these other agencies, really, there should be a motion to ratify or approve these revised appointments.
Do I make a motion on it? Or to change the,
Change them?
yeah, to what they were, like, what we have here.
Change them to what we have here?
Yeah.
No.
Why?
You appointed these.
Yes, but he wants a motion now.
He wants a motion. NBIT,
Southeast Health Council.
Southeast Health Council.
Yeah.
I personally don't want you representing us on those committees.
Are you gonna say something?
No, not really. Really, it's up to council. Again, the legislation's clear, the mayor's authorities in regards to what the mayor can do according to committee, to standing and select committees. The regional district appointment is clearly by council motion. Really, what in most cases is just requested or recommended is a council motion to these other remaining appointments to concur with them, to ratify them, to endorse them.
Okay, well, I make a motion for them to be what they are.
What you can do, I suppose, if there's a desire for a discussion on certain ones, you can, you know, deal with those separately, deal with them seriatim, take them off the
No,
list,
these are the ones that I want.
ratify the remainder. Because really, in some of these agencies, South Peace Health, they may come back, the RCMP, and ask for, well, is there a motion to make these changes? So what I would suggest is if there is the desire for a discussion on, I'm hearing Northern Development Initiative Trust.
Yeah, I want
Southeast
Northern
Health.
Initiative Development Trust because I know that the grants don't come back to council. So I want that. And Southeast Health Council, I started it at the very beginning, so.
So what I would suggest maybe is just, first of all, a motion to ratify all these remaining appointments with the exception of Northern Development Initiative Trust and South Peace Health. And then you can have a separate discussion about those two.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, so Northern Development Initiative Trust. There
Don't
was,
we have a motion on the floor, don't we? Do we
Yeah,
have to?
we should vote on that
Point
motion
of order.
first.
Can I get a seconder? Did you second it? All in favor? So Northern Development Initiative Trust, there is grants that are out there and they're never brought back to the village. I've brought back plenty as a mayor. So I feel that because I get the information that I should be on that board.
Point of order, I have brought back all the new stuff last September. They weren't going to announce it till the UBCM, and I've handed that all over to our CAO.
You didn't bring it to council.
I did after it was public.
I've watched it again. Anyway, I want those. So.
I don't feel that you should represent us on those boards, as First Nations are also in those boards, and that's my 2 cents.
Let's remind you that you guys did not do your job properly, so I did have to sue the village because you guys did not do your job properly.
Point of order. At the time, and the direction we had, we went with what would have been advised to us.
Okay then,
So who's going to be on Northern?
not you, Marlene.
I can't.
Then nobody attends.
No, I'll make a motion that Bart Smith is Councilor Smith, Northern Development Initiative Trust.
I'll second that.
I'm not ready to eat. I mean, sorry. We won't have any council meeting tonight. And I can do that. You guys don't want to work with me? Then this is how it's gonna go.
Thank you. Thanks, Gary.
Nice meeting you.
Meeting you as well.
So there's a motion on the table. We can operate with 2 members of council.
No. So everything's on hold.
Pardon me?
It's on. Remember, you don't have a quorum.
I believe the ministerial order permits you to operate
With 2
with
because,
2.
yeah, they have given us. We've made decisions, the 2 of us.
Oh, you don't want to proceed with the council?
I don't mind proceeding.
I don't mind proceeding.
Can I ask a question? Oh, the ministerial order, wasn't that just for the, one of the in-camera items? Or is that global?
Well, I'd have to go back to the ministerial order, but my understanding is that it did permit you to operate with 3 members of council, and that, did it not go on to say that you would have permission or authorization to proceed with 2? There's a quorum of 3. For a council of 3, a quorum is 2.
Was that what it said?
I'm not entirely sure.
Oh,
I'd have to go back to the ministerial order.
I never read it.
Do you have access to it? We can have a recess for 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's recess for 5 minutes.
Okay. Sure.